する人この指止めれ。
私なんかがあの指に止まっていいのかな。
You know, growing up, I know I wasn't really the popular, the talented, or the gifted one. Whenever people ask me about my dreams, even until now, which is always to go on tours, play music, express my emotions through my music, and looking back, I wish I was brave enough to pursue that further.
まあバンドは陰キャでも輝けるんで。
I could relate to Hitori Goto from Bocchi the Rock in a sense that you have no one to share your dreams with. Well, even though I have a circle of friends back then, but they didn't really understand my kind of passion, and I didn't really have people of same interest that plays music or listen to the same genre as I did. I was also an introverted, socially awkward kind of person like Hitori Goto back then when I was in high school, in a sense where I couldn't really maintain eye contact whenever I talk to people, even within my circle of friends and even to strangers actually.
たまーに思う。このままでいいんだろうかって。
I always knew that from the start, I didn't really want the conventional 9 to 5 job, even though there's nothing wrong with it, obviously. Yeah, but it's just that I have feeling music was my calling. And back in high school, I didn't really have friends to go to local gigs to know more about the local music scene, and I really missed out on all of those when I was in high school, and that kind of sucked. Looking back at it, at that point of time, I just felt like my dream was nothing but a fictional reality.
バンド組んだら私みたいな人間でももしかしたら輝ける。
Hey guys, I'm Yami. Welcome back to my channel. So this will be another video where I yap about either music or anime, because these are the two things that I want to focus on my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about why Bocchi the Rock was the best anime that I have ever seen personally. For those of you who don't know, Bocchi the Rock is essentially like a slice of life, light-hearted anime that is about, you know, playing music and being in a band. That's the whole premise of the show. So Hitori Goto, also known as Bocchi, is a socially introverted girl who gets shunned by people since she was young and, you know, didn't really have much friends. One day she joins a band of members with different personalities, and from then on we get to see how she kind of breaks out of her shell and how she copes with it. Well, essentially this is a slice of life, light-hearted anime, so it is not meant to be kind of taken seriously. Her funny antics, her reactions is, I think, what makes the show really enjoyable to watch actually.
ぼっちです。喜んでるし。
Now why I say this show is the best series I've ever seen is because, simply put, that this show found me at the right place at the right time. I think this show was released in 2022, but I only watched it when in 2023 if I'm not wrong. At that point of time where I was in my first workplace after I finished army. I remember, you know, it being sucked and I just didn't want to be there at all. YouTube recommended me Guitar Loneliness and Blue Planet, and that was my calling to watch Bocchi the Rock. The show even made me play back guitar when I went hiatus from it for 3 years. That's how much of an impact Bocchi the Rock has done to me. Hitori Goto is one of those characters that I could relate heavily when I was in high school or during my teen years. I played guitar at the age of 13. I really lacked self-esteem during my teenage years, and I thought maybe that playing guitar is somewhat at least redeemable about myself, because I knew that I didn't really have the physics, the brains, the height, the face, or anything, you know. And I thought that maybe playing guitar could at least make me somewhat cool, I guess. And really the intention was for me to pick up girls. Back then, comparing myself to my friends, I really have nothing. I really do felt like that at that point of time. Yeah. So because I'm not really that talented, I have to put in 5 times the hard work for me to be at least somewhat good in certain things But then instead of picking up girls, I somehow managed to attract more guys.
私がアカウントなんて持ったら
Hitori Goto is also the kind of person where she knows she's good at guitar. Like she has a whole YouTube channel called Guitar Hero, playing guitar in her closet. She's the type of person to really tries her best to look cool in front of people. You know, coming from someone who has a lot of anxieties back then, I really felt that when I watched the show. You know, since young she felt that she didn't really fit in anywhere, which, you know, brought her to even in high school. But then one day she finds this bright angel, Tenchi, cute, my lovely angel Tan Nijika Ichiji at the playground.
ギターそれギターだよね。弾けるの？
Nijika decided to, you know, recruit Bocchi as a guitarist because their initial guitarist backed out at the last minute. And that's the turning point of the series Bocchi the Rock. Hitori Goto is also known as Bocchi in the series, but I didn't really want to label her as Bocchi because it derived from the word Hitori Bocchi, means, you know, like alone or by yourself. In this series, it is pretty interesting to see Hitori's band members because they are all of different personalities. We got Nijika Ichiji, who is gluing the band members together. So Nijika Ichiji is the drummer. I wouldn't say she's like an extroverted or introverted, but
どういう意味じゃ？
you know, as the leader of the band, I think she's the one that need to keep the band tight.
でもまだぼっちちゃんには秘密だよ。じゃあ明日よろしくね。
That's what her band name is, Kesoku Bando. Essentially means cable tie.
物販で500円で売ろう。ぼったくり。
Ryo Yamada, which is the typical broke bassist, I guess.
てれ、どこが褒め言葉に聞こえた？
She's a very technical bassist who also knows how to compose songs actually. She's the really aloof, doesn't really care for people, that kind of attitude. She's more like a loner instead of like she feels she's alone in this world, like she chose to be a loner.
おお。
And there are times where in the series she gets pretty serious, and then that's where, you know, it had impact. So every time there's a contrast between the character's attitude or normal attitude, I think there's an impact to that scene. My impression of Ryo kind of grew more into something more positive at the end.
個性捨てたら死んでるのと一緒だよ。りょうさん。だから、いろいろ考えてつまんない歌詞書かないでいいから、ぼっちの好きなように書いてよ。
And then we have Ikuyo Kita, which is the rhythm guitarist and also the lead singer of the band. She's considered the most extroverted one, the one who's up to date with social media, how to use social medias and whatnot, who is also a classmate of Hitori Goto. She was the one that bailed out on Nijika to be the guitarist at the start of the show. And then things happen, and then all of them met together. She's the type of person who has a lot of friends. You know, she also picked up guitar and then learned how to sing at such short notice, and I think that's really talented. She also asked Hitori to, you know, teach her, you know, how to play guitar. Also, she admires Ryo for some reason.
指良くなったね、だいぶ。美味しく
I think going back to the point where I think why Bocchi the Rock is the best series I've ever watched, because it impacted me at the age where I felt lost in my mid-20s. Even until now actually, I didn't know what to do because at that time I stopped playing guitar. I was stuck in a job that I didn't really like, and Bocchi the Rock just somehow managed to spark or rekindle the passion that I once had for music and guitar actually. While the show may not even make sense because it is a slice of life and very goofy at times, but you can also say not realistic, but I think for an anime to make me play back guitar or rekindle my passion for music, I think that's considered a very well done job. I know I'm only speaking on behalf of me, but like I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that picked up guitar because of Bocchi the Rock. You know, some of the songs that they wrote are also really quite touching, heavy, and you could almost say like it is quite deep actually. This is coming from, you know, Hitori Goto, because she is the one that wrote all Kesoku Ban's lyrics actually. Some of their songs like Wasurete Yaranai, that means I won't make you forget about me. So there was a verse after the chorus, if I'm not wrong. It says, I'm not as spoiled as an adult, but I'm no child genius either. I'm right in the middle of my life. I feel like the wind will leave me behind. I'm trying to hold on for dear life. And even now, like after a few years after watching Ketsukuban, I still feel that part of the lyrics quite deeply. This song was played like during their cultural festival, so I guess in a way that they don't want people to forget about them, which is, I think they did a great job at it. And you know, their desire to leave an heavy impact to other people is something I could relate to as well. You know, being as musicians, as a creative, I often feel like, you know, what do I have to offer back to the world that, you know, there's something meaningful, you know, like did I ever inspire someone to play music, to achieve their own dreams, to never give up, to never stop being kind in this god-forsaken cruel world. The ending song, you know, like on the last episode, Keisukuban covered Ajahn Kung Fu's Generation song, which is one of my favorite songs, Korogaru wa Kimi no Ache ga Furu. That means rock and roll morning light falls on you. And then I discovered that Hitori was the one that, you know, sang that song. And I think when I first hear it, I think I can't help but to feel sad, or I bawl my eyes out, because that song is really, you know, one of my favorites from AKG. The lyrics are, you know, really relatable, and knowing that Hitori also experienced the same thing, and the way she sang it at the start of the song was really off key, and then she managed to ease through halfway through the song. I think that's really, you know, it shows like her progression in being a better person, tries to not be a socially awkward person. And I can't help but to shed a tear or two when I watched the show. At the end, I guess it symbolizes that she gets more comfortable halfway through the song, because she knows that she found people that are willing to support her in her journey, I guess. Damn, how can this light-hearted anime make me cry? And that's the best part. You know, if this show was made when I was in high school, I think I would still continue pursuing deeper of my dream, you know, to be in a band and then go on tours and play gigs. But I think nevertheless, Bocchi the Rock found me at my mid-20s, and right now I'm in my own 2 bands. You know, I'm trying to actively pursue that dream right now. I'm back to making, you know, music. I've longed for this feeling to be in a band and to play together with my friends and make music as a whole. You know, I kept saying this to people, but I got retrenched like a year plus ago, and I'm still struggling to find a job in this goddamn economy right now. So now I'm trying to pursue YouTube to make music content and to share my passion for anime and music with people. I really do think that even if Bocchi the Rock didn't make its way to me, I think music will eventually find its way to me as well, considering that, you know, if my fate to be retrenched still happens. But then again, thankfully I found Bocchi, you know. And you know, I really want to thank Bocchi the Rock and the creator Aki Hamazi for creating this series, because it certainly has played a major role in my life, and I met so many people that like Bocchi the Rock as well, and I made new friends because of Bocchi the Rock. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I try to make more entertaining videos, or I don't know, whatever the viewers prefer me to do. To be honest, I really don't know if people are gonna watch this as well, but yeah, I just really want to play music, create music content or anime related content. If can, I really want to pursue this all the way full time, and I really don't want to work outside already because of my bad experiences like racial discrimination, and everywhere I go there's like up bosses and seniorities. So I'm really trying to make this work. So thank you again Bocchi the Rock and Akihamazi for this series as a whole, and I look forward to season 2. Let me know what you guys want me to yap about next, and remember to like, subscribe, support my clothing brand down in the description. Stay safe, stay straight edge, and thank you for watching as always.